Hey, you. Good morning. It's 2 minutes past 12. It's fine.
How are we all doing? Welcome to twitch.tv/AshramUploads. My name's Grim Day. Hey, how are you doing? How you doing? Welcome in. We are live with our good afternoon sesh of our morning talk show thing. Anyway, welcome in. How are you doing? It's Tuesday. I had a quick look then. Busy all day. I am wearing Xbox clothing, though, because if you don't know, it's Gamescom week. So it's busy enough anyway for us right now. It's a pretty busy period for us at Ice Cream Upload Studios / Jelly Media. It's pretty busy. But yeah, Gamescom week suddenly gets even busier. So we are wearing, well, I am wearing Xbox branded stuff. Bibby's gone for the collar. He's looking smooth and suave for you. I mean, is golf on the course and golf off the course. That's what it is.
Dead right.
So yeah, welcome in. Excuse me. If you don't know who we are, my name is Graham Day. Hey, how are you doing? I'm joined by Bibby. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. We do go live on Twitch at 10 a.m. ish. 10 a.m. ish. Each and every single weekday with the UK's #1 video game podcast. Even if we do say so ourselves, but we do go live regardless. Whether we say it, whether you say it, whoever says it, we go live. And we want you guys to get involved. In the chat, please feel free to get involved. We will give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, best, breaking stories from the world of video games. But we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. If you're in the chat, please do get involved because we turn this live stream into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, lots of places where we turn this live stream into an on-demand spectacular for people to enjoy. So please do get involved on behalf of those people. And if you are watching and listening to this on demand, hey, how you doing? A couple of reminders, ! Loot drop. We do have a giveaway for subscribers. If you want more information, just type ! Loot drop in the chat. You can win one of 4 prizes on Monday the 6th of September. Elsewhere, ! Insert coin. Shout out to the lovely people at Insert Coin that are pushing for partnership on Twitch. We do stream on there. We also stream as Twitch partners on our channel as well too, but do feel free, if you haven't already, go drop a follow on Insert Coin because they are pushing for partnerships. So any extra follow, any extra view does help. Do it. Before we jump into things though, I just want to quickly go over what I mentioned a second ago. It is Gamescom week. We have 2 extra streams for you. So we do stream at 10 a.m.-ish in the morning with the Scoop. Then we throw in additional gameplay content. Tuesday, though, is usually a one-day stream day. We do have an extra stream this evening from 6 p.m. tonight. Myself and Bib will be joined by Mr. Enix himself on Twitch. Yeah. Speaking of Enix, there he is in the chat. Hey, I see you. We will be joined for the Xbox Showcase. So that's the Xbox Gamescom 2021 Showcase. We will be watching that live start to finish. So that includes like the 30-minute pre-show. So the actual content, I believe, starts at 6, but we'll probably be going live around 5:30-ish just to get ourselves set. The show, I think, was 2 hours, or was that the Gamescom one? That might be just the Gamescom.
No, it's meant to be 90 minutes, I think.
Okay, there we go. I might be mixing myself up with the Gamescom opening night live showcase. Well, anyway, the reason I'm getting mixed up with that is because that is the day after Gamescom opening night live will be taking place. Do you know, actually? I don't have the asset as a way that I can share right now. We will be posting the asset on social media straight after the Scoop today, though, because we need to remove Ben Ward, aka Winstano, aka Next Gen Base, because he's busy. He has live things to do. So we'll take Ben off the asset, but we will be live with Enix tonight. If anyone is around and does want to guest host, by the way, that means that we do have a slot. If anyone wants to jump in and fill Ben Ward space. Nice.
To fill.
Yeah, if you want to fill Ben Ward's space, then feel free. Not what I meant, but okay. I kind of paused because I thought that doesn't sound good, and where I paused didn't sound good either. Do you want to fill Ben Ward space? No, never mind. Anyway, so yeah, we'll be live tonight for the Xbox Gamescom showcase for 2021 Gamescom, and then tomorrow night for the Gamescom opening night live. Full broadcast start to finish. Feel free to join us for those. Mr. Bib, looking forward to those.
Yes, I most certainly am. Yeah, to be fair, I'm actually more looking forward to tonight's rather than the one tomorrow. After experiencing what we got through E3, the bar is quite high for them. I mean, I like to go in with zero expectation for them as well, so I could be excited as I'm going along and watching it. But my expectation tonight is we'll say middle of the road. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm expecting to be not necessarily blown away, but I expect it to be super smooth, super slick. Have a load of high intensity music being played and a lot of games potentially coming to Game Pass. I'm not sure about what games we're going to be seeing. I assume we're going to see more of Halo. I'm sure we're going to see
Forza.
something of Forza. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously we'll be showing Bethesda games off as well. So I don't know whether or not they're going to dedicate anything to potentially what's coming out with Skyrim, like I mentioned yesterday, with it getting a next gen update. I'm excited to see potentially what we're going to be getting from that. Maybe they introduce something like Oblivion also getting something as well. Obviously, that was a Xbox game way back when as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. My expectations are middle of the road. I'm not expecting the world. I'm just expecting a very good, slick show. And I think when you expect something like that, rather than the products that are going to be shown, I think you're more in for a good time. I think a lot of expectation usually is placed on companies showing the biggest, the best, and a 14-minute trailer for a game that you're super excited about. And if you don't see 14 minutes worth of it, then you're super pissed off. I'm just excited to be entertained.
You mean I sat here for a week for 13 minutes? Triggered.
Yeah. Jumping in the chat then, Tito says, hey, fellas. I'll read Tito. Then NX rolls in. I see you. John Lee Smith, good morning. Thank you very much for the follow. I'm going to hit replay on that because that came, I think, when we were counting down. So you don't get to see the name in lights. So let's have this. Did we just become best friends? You goddamn right we did. Thank you very much for the follow, dude. Xbox is tonight, so we will be live from around 5:30, 6-ish to bring you all of that conference. Make sure you're around. I'll see you there. Enix says, remember, no new announcements. It's just updates from games they already announced. You know why that is? It's a below par brand that's not good enough. And I'm joking. I'm only joking. Yeah, no. I mean that is key. But then again, to be fair, if we see fresh Halo content at a decent level, then that's just as good as a new announcement, really. So they've got a lot to go out there because obviously no new announcement, just games that they've already announced. Let me scroll back to my there we go. There's my E3 watch along. So the games that were announced in the Xbox, we got Forza. Oh no, these are that was our predictions pre-show. So, Starfield, Stalker, Back for Blood, Contraband, Sea of Thieves, Yakuza, Battlefield 2042, 12 Minutes, Psychonauts 2, 10 more Bethesda games came to Game Pass, so we could have more of those sort of announcements coming to Game Pass. Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls, Party Animals, Hades, and so on and so on and so on. So if we're just talking about games that have been previously announced, that was only like half a list that I went through, and there's already tons of content that we could there. Could we see more Stalker 2 content? We've already started to see some of that stuff, so potentially we know it's on Unreal Engine 5. They're committed enough to start making announcements like that. We could see some Stalker in that. So I literally don't even know where to predict because I could throw my hat into Battlefield news, Stalker news, all this, that, and the other, but they have so many games on the table that it could go anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised though if we did get some Battlefield content. Someone mentioned that in the chat actually. John Lee Smith, he says Battlefield 2042. Yeah. So we could have some Battlefield, and I think that is potentially likely with COD obviously being very PlayStation aligned. Battlefield and Xbox could definitely get in bed, and obviously EA Play with Xbox's relationship. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Gagad's lurking. Good morning, Gagad. Or good afternoon, even. Xbox need to knock it out of the park with games tonight. Great hardware and momentum. Just need to push on with reasons to get Xbox over PlayStation. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Games is the only thing that they historically have really been missing. But they've got tons of that stuff coming. Do you know? I wouldn't even say they need to knock it out of the park. I think we're probably on the same line with the sentiment though. They don't need to knock it out of the park, but if they do knock it out of the park, then they just continue with that momentum, which is exactly what they need right now. No new games? I'm offended, says Tito. I mean, you don't need new games. Not when you've got a monthly subscription of $9.99, which gives you access to thousands of games, and you can get 1 month for and that you know what I mean. Damn it, Enix, why'd you have to disappoint me? They announced an absolute ton of games with minimum information, so they have loads to talk about. I mean, that is true. I mean, there is always the outside chance of a new game just being thrown in. Don't forget that. Obviously, they could just go, actually, one more thing. Maybe not, maybe not. It doesn't tend to happen at Gamescom that much. That said, Gamescom is where we got PT, so there is previous in the past, although that was PlayStation. So we could do. But do you know what? Either way, whether it's brand new surprises or surprises that we're kind of familiar with, it should be a decent show. We will watch that live tonight from 6 p.m. Maybe a little bit before. Do you know what? To get clued up on exactly when we go live, either follow us on Twitter, because we will post the social asset out after this show, or follow us here on Twitch. You will get notified when we do go live. Speaking of notified of when people go live, Bib, have you been notified recently that Dr. Disrespect has gone live on Twitch?
No, I haven't, but a good segue, Graham.
Nice, thank you. It's almost like it was really forced, but there we go. So yes, nobody will have had notifications that the doc has gone live on Twitch, because we all know a year and a bit ago-ish, 18 months, something like that, he got banned from Twitch, and nobody ever knew. Nobody ever found out. We were talking about just last week that the doc does not know why he got banned. Well, actually, that's not quite the case, as the news that has broken this morning suggests. Josh Coulson at The Gamer shared this story, which says Dr. Disrespect is suing Twitch for permanently banning him last year. Dr. Disrespect has revealed he knows why he was banned from Twitch last year and is suing the platform. Dr. Disrespect has broken his silence about last year's permanent ban from Twitch, revealing that he is in the process of suing the platform. It's now been well over a year since Dr. Disrespect was permanently banned from Twitch. The popular streamer was kicked from the platform, never to return, and has since found a home for himself on YouTube. However, the reason for such a severe punishment has never been revealed. Disrespect has barely even mentioned it in the 14 months since he was forced to leave Twitch and his thousands of subscribers behind. We may now be one very big step closer to finally finding out what happened between the two parties. During a recent stream, Disrespect addressed his ban, noting that he still receives a lot of questions about it. The streamer admitted that he has known the reason why he was banned for months, but he still isn't allowed to talk about it. However, Disrespect did reveal he is in the process of suing Twitch for the ban. Quote, yeah, I do know the reason why. I've known for months now. I'll just, do you know, actually, I'm not even going to read it. I'm not even going to read it, because that is taken from this clip here from @LordVega on Twitch, who's clipped Dr. Disrespect's stream. So let's
I can't talk about
play
it.
this.
But a lot of people ask me, do you know the reason? Yeah, I do know the reason why now. I've known for months now the reason why. And I'll just say this right now, champs. There's a reason why we're suing the fuck out of them. Okay? I don't know how else to put it. The amount of damages and you just don't. No. Gotta. Second. Anyways, I can't talk about it.
It's interesting. Anyway, let's finish the article before we jump into thoughts and impressions. Disrespect doesn't go into greater detail than that, but the odds are that he lost out on a lot of revenue after receiving his ban. The streamer had somewhere just short of 25,000 subscribers on Twitch, almost as much as us, nice, at the time of his ban. He was gone from the streaming world for a little more than a month after leaving Twitch before announcing he would be returning via YouTube. Whatever Disrespect did to get himself banned, Twitch clearly isn't over it. Just last month, Z-Laner was removed from a tournament for hinting that he planned to compete in Dr. Disrespect cosplay. Disrespect has been branching out since then, as he appears to be starting up his very own gaming studio. The streamer is currently looking for someone to head up the operation and will work with what he calls mega influencers to create games. Cheers, Doc. We're kind of busy, but we'll consider it. Thanks. So there you go. Dr. Disrespect is suing Twitch. It's been over a year. We didn't know. He didn't know. He now does know, and is now, to quote him from that video, suing the fuck out of him. Yikes. Okay. Bib, not really much to go from there. We are still kind of like just fumbling around in the dark trying to make sense of this, but what sense have you made?
Well, if he's that confident, I mean, yeah, if he's that confident that is obviously not done anything wrong, then why shouldn't he? Like he mentioned there, the amount of damages that he's had, like the amount of shit that people was either making up, or they had a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend whose dog's friends with their auntie, who's been making accusations against him, which then ended up losing sponsorship, losing a whole manner of ways of income. That if he's absolutely done nothing wrong, and I will go in for bat. I will go into bat for him for this one because I don't think he may have done it. He's obviously done some sketchy things previously, but the accusations that were thrown at him, like some of them were saying that he was a paedophile and that he'd sexually harassed people at
Yeah, I mean,
conventions and stuff
people
like
just
that.
throwing shit like that out without any form of evidence is fucking disgusting. And there was so much of it. Yeah, it's clearly a wrong, and everything that's going on with, because it was at that point in time. Obviously, bearing in mind it was Harvey Weinstein. There was the Me Too movement, and rightly so. Shitloads of people were torn down from from positions of power, as they should have been. But just because the doc had put himself in a position of power as a content creator, if there's no evidence to suggest that he's been involved in any of that sort of stuff, to push that stuff onto someone without any form of evidence is disgusting, and that's kind of where it was. I've seen no evidence to point that any of that sort of stuff was legit.
No.
So where did it come from? Anyway, sorry, I interrupted. Carry on.
It's like one of the things. If enough shit's been thrown at the wall, some of it might stick. And for the longest time, it did look like that some of that stuff was sticking because he was nowhere to be seen. Like he wasn't streaming anywhere. Mixer was going down the pan. YouTube, he had a YouTube channel. He was still uploading clips and stuff, but there was no streams of him doing it. So it's kind of like, well, what has actually happened? And then he just came back out of nowhere, started streaming again, and everything seemed hunky dory. It's just been under wraps for so long. So yeah, I think this is one of them where there was people was hoping something would be significantly wrong with this, and me and you have discussed this on here before, saying that I have got no problems in, you know, going after not going after someone, but criticizing someone when things need to be criticized.
I mean, look at Activision for the last couple of weeks. We've streamed Call of Duties and the whatever, but the last couple of weeks we've said what needed to be said.
Yeah, and there was absolutely no reason for me to not think of. No, again, I don't like the phrase going into bat because again, it just feels like I'm giving him some sort of special treatment or anything like that. But there was nothing significant with the way that the character he portrays is and the person that he actually is as Guy Beam are two completely different personas. We've mentioned it all the time about wrestling being the exact same thing. I mean, kayfabe doesn't necessarily exist nowadays anymore. Like people will be something in the ring, but then they'll go into Instagram with the person that they've just been having a feud with for the last 6 months. That doesn't kind of exist, but his character is portrayed across everything. So I didn't think that he would necessarily do anything because if he did, we would have known about it by now. If it was something like some sort of heinous crime, he would have been locked up. He would have been away for so long. Like it was all purely speculation. So yeah, I think he's got every single right to do that. If he's had sponsorships and everything stripped away from a large money income, just disappearing because of what people are trying to say about them. We've seen it so many times in the past, not just to streamers, but in everyday life where this has happened and it's ruined people's lives because someone can't keep the gob shut or they just want to be a part of the gossip. And it's ruined people's lives when nothing was actually wrong and there wasn't even involved in it. So yeah, it's just one of them things now. Like I'm excited to see what the outcome is going to be, but I genuinely don't feel like we're ever going to know. You posted this obviously in the scoop chat this morning. I genuinely feel if this is a big money settlement, that Twitch will never accept liability, but they will pay for silence. And I think if this is a large sum of money, I think they will settle this out of court, and I think everything will just blow back over again. I don't think Doc will burn that bridge. I think he's too smart to do that because he knows full well if this gets settled in the next 12 months, in 2 years' time, and he wants to come back over to Twitch again, he's just going to make a massive deal of it, and then more money will end up coming his way. Like he's not stupid.
Yeah, and think of it could be 6-figure settlements, maybe more. That he'll get that on his fucking first stream back. It was like when he came back after the hiatus, after the toilet incident, and the hiatus after him leaving after the issue with his marriage kind of thing. both streams, I think, had over six figures in terms of just donations alone, not including subs and advertising revenue and all of that sort of stuff off it. So absolutely. Anyway, let's jump back through the chat so we can keep up with things. John Lee says this news is based on what he said on stream yesterday. I think, I assume it's yesterday. I mean, I've not actually seen it other than within clips like the one from @LordVega on Twitter, but I assume it was yesterday. And it says supposedly the reason was released and it's widely known internally. Basically, used Mixer to get more money from Twitch. Then Mixer shut down and Dot got banned just after they shut down. But that's the thing, though. Supposedly, I've heard multiple different solid supposedlys. I've heard that he was trying to get a new deal with Mixer and using that to leverage Twitch. I've heard that he was trying to take other content creators away from Twitch into his own sort of platform. I've heard that he was trying to take content creators away from Twitch to YouTube or whatever, because at that point in time, obviously the context there is Twitch had signed Shroud and they had signed Ninja and whoever else at that point in time. YouTube were just starting to flex their muscles by bringing the likes of the Courage and stuff onto their roster. I had heard that the Doc was he was engineering a move to YouTube and was trying to bring a bunch of other people with him as well to make sure that YouTube was successful. There's all of this stuff that all sound plausible, but I don't know which if any of them are true. I've not seen any evidence of any of those. Interestingly, though, that for me is the fact that he's saying that he's going to sue the fuck out of them, because that's a clear verbal classification there. That's guaranteeing that something has happened. The fact that he knows now something is different, something has changed. From a PR perspective, though, if you were his PR guy, you'd be like, "Don't fucking say that. Don't say that," because like if you are suing them, that's potentially damaging. To say that you are gonna sue the fuck out of someone, because I mean, he didn't say that. He said that there was loss of earnings, so he's already made accusations now at Twitch. He said that, loss of earnings revenue, and then he kind of stopped talking, but he did put stuff in there. Does he actually say in the wording? I didn't say in the wording, but he's labelled some accusations at Twitch now. That could start things moving, because if Twitch started to get impacted, people could start talking about Twitch now. Twitch's shares could take an impact, and then that's it. They have to countersue, like, okay, you're making libelous claims against us that aren't founded, so we're going to take you to court, countersue. So what's interesting is the fact that he has put something out there that usually starts things moving in some way, shape, or the other. But Madge's comment, I'll repeat myself again. If it was criminal, the reason for his ban, then it would have come out in the media about the goings on. I agree. So if he had have been the most evil of person in a variety of ways, then we'd have heard of that. If it was legal in terms of a criminal in terms of contract disputes, then that is fine. Okay, that's something that you won't hear about, because of it's most contracts have NDAs and all sorts of other things, and yeah, it's understandable. If it was something contract based, which obviously he's talking about loss of earnings and things there, then yeah, okay, well that's not that's what's the word I'm looking for? That's not criminal. That's whatever the other whatever the other types of courts are. So yeah, that's just a contract. Civil, yeah. So that's something that they will discuss elsewhere rather than being in the public eye. So yeah, the fact that he is suing, though, that does put it into a court of law, which does potentially change things. Like I say, obviously when you're looping in all the other elements, so it'd be interesting to see where this goes from now. Continue with the comments though. The only thing I wonder is how much is Dr. D persona / bravado. I mean, within that there is a lot of it. It's like I'll just say this right now, champs. There's a reason why we're suing the fuck out of him. That's Dr. Disrespect bravado, but like potentially talking over a serious point at the same time. So that's him doing the chest flex, say it with your chest sort of thing, but also still potentially talking the truth as well. So it could have been a bit of both there. The two things are mutually exclusive, but also not always. You can get Dr. Disrespect and Guy Beam saying the same sentence at the same time, sort of thing. By the way, Sammy Baby, thank you very much for the follow 11 minutes. I didn't shout that out. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Madge with probably the most insightful comment of the day. I'm going to read this one out. It says, Thank you very much, Madge. I appreciate that one. And I completely agree with all of the sentiments. That's a well-structured argument. Thank you. That doesn't sound like a legitimate reason. If that's the case, with more than entitled to sue would seem stupid on Twitch's part with the mixer stuff. I mean, exactly. There's nothing like the doc can discuss contracts. Unless there was something specifically in there that stops him from discussing contracts. But when you're in a contract of exclusivity, you can discuss a contract of exclusivity that starts after the contract finishes. So you don't have to wait until a contract has lapsed before you start your next contract, in that essence. You just can't do anything that interrupts with that contract. So stopping making content and so on. So yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Like Enix says, who knows until it officially comes out, but articles that had the specific reason were DMCA'd, but others were not. Once again, I mean, unless I see undeniable evidence that others were not, or that article was DMCA'd for that specific thing, could they be DMCA'd because they had clips and stuff in? There's all sorts of, like, minutia, tiny details that could get an article pulled. It might not be that wording, it might have been something else that was said or whatever. So yeah, and I've not seen any articles being DMCA'd myself personally. I would have to rely off the word of the internet, which I would not usually do. So I don't know. Not strictly true if there was significant criminal legal action. Not saying was, but media wouldn't be able to report on it. They would report about court summons. There's been a whole conspiracy, don't forget. That Beam stream theory was hilarious. I mean, that one was possibly the most incredible one of the lot. Yeah. Beam, brine, salt water, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was a crap system that everyone... I mean, they played the game exceptionally well for about 4.5 minutes. We're a new streaming system. We're bringing up. We're going to elevate the game. We're going to give the players and the streamers and the people what they want. Oh, nice. Okay, let's do our first major announcement message. Yeah. What we expecting, boys? Do we think trailer? Do we think live interview? Is it going to be just a flat asset? Nope. They've chosen a GIF. I remember it was like they just went to Twitter GIFs and had like a thumbs up GIF or something like that. It's like, oh, so that's your first major assets.
Scandalous.
Not sure we can trust this one, boys. Let's move on. His Twitch ban led to loss of earnings from not being allowed to participate in esports events and all sorts of stuff. His Twitch ban, because of the secrecy around it, led to Mountain Dew, their energy drink, pulling him from their branding and then putting him back pretty quickly. But there was others as well. Like, he lost his Discord partnership. I don't know whether that came back or not, but all sorts of things pulled out instantly. Like, nope, we don't want to be seen with him. It's all back now, or if not all, most of it is back. But that's got to be shit. I mean, let's just assume, for the argument's sake, right now, I mean, he could be guilty of something. Let's just assume he was innocent, technically. Maybe he was speaking to a mixer about sorting out his next contract, which you can do. You can sort out what you're going to do after your contract's finished. And let's say he was having those conversations and Twitch didn't like it and pulled everything, but then lost all of your... Like, say if you had a job which you were sorting out your 12-month contract, you've got a fixed work contract. After that 12 months, you're going to need another job. So you're sorting out your next 12 months. You're getting that all in place. Your current 12-month goes, actually, fuck that. We don't want that. Gets rid of your job, but then takes rid of every other avenue that you have for earning off at the same time that aren't part of it. That's got to be quite shocking, severe. I mean, I'd be fuming. And he's talking about loss of earnings and stuff. I don't doubt some of that sort of stuff comes into it. It is interesting to see where that goes, though, because, like I said, that's us assuming he's innocent. He could have been trying to force through things whilst it was happening. I mean, you can fully imagine Mixer in its dying breath doing one stupid swipe. Like, what the fuck can we do? Let's just get Doc now and we will pay whatever it costs. So Mixer, in theory, their teams could have just gone, fuck it, 52 million, Doc. We'll have you now. Go. And the Doc's gone, yeah, fuck it, yeah, Twitch, yeah. And then Twitch are going, yeah, but we're gonna take you, we're gonna cancel your contract and we're gonna sue you for twice as much. And the Doc's like, okay, well, that's 6 million. I've got 52 coming, so yeah, whatever, mate. But then Mixer goes, actually, do you know what? We're a little bit bust. So yeah, sorry about that. And then Twitch going, oh, well, sorry, mate. I mean, it could be that as well. The doc could be in the wrong, not Twitch. We don't know. But as much as, like Baby said, he doesn't want to say he's going out to bat for him. And I agree with his sentiment. It's probably more like we don't want to go out in the fucking lynch mob. We don't want to send out a lynch mob. It's probably better off looking at. We don't want to go out to bat for him. But until he's guilty of something, we're not going to hang him anyway either. Yeah. And same with Twitch. Until they're guilty of something, we can't hang them for it either. At the moment, we have two differing parties that are at loggerheads, and we can just sit there and watch with popcorn. Yeah, boy. So
everyone always chooses to choose a side, though. That's just the way society is nowadays. You have to be one side or the other. So even though it's like innocent until proven guilty, which again is just one of them stupid sayings. It kind of is the case at this, because genuinely no one knows the reason. It's all speculation. Literally everybody is speculating. The only people who know are Dr. Disrespect, his team, and the team over at Twitch. Everybody else is, if you don't like the guy, he's guilty. If you do like the guy, he's not guilty. But then there's just people in the middle, which I'd like to think that's where we are. It's just like we genuinely have no idea. So why can we be on his side and then cheer for him when he potentially might have done something, but we don't know. So we just wait with bated breath, kind of thing.
It's quite interesting to see the there's probably psychological studies into having a faceless corporation versus an individual. Obviously, you're probably in certain situations gonna back the individual because that's a person. I can see that. I can relate to that. Whereas a faceless organization like Twitch, that's Amazon, that has all the money in the world. Fuck you guys, you're the evil ones. But there's cycles. So when you drill past that, there's cycles. So the doc instantly was found out to be bad. People drew conclusions with the Harvey Weinstein, the Me Too stuff, the other things. So his name instantly got dragged through the mud. And because he didn't disappear when his name was dragged through the mud, not entirely, he didn't come out, he didn't apologize, he didn't double down, didn't do any of that sort of stuff. He just kept his gob shut and then came back and says, yeah, I've not done anything, don't know what it is, we're going to keep fighting. People went, okay, he's gone through the cycle of individual persecution, he's survived that, so maybe he's not guilty, now he's innocent. And it's interesting to see how he went from being guaranteed to be innocent to now guaranteed to be guilty to now he's innocent. The same people that probably hated him 18 months ago are now like fighting for him. Firm handshakes, boss. Firm handshakes. Like, you don't know either way. I don't know either way. I like Dr. Disrespect and I like Twitch. I would like to know what happened, but you know what, we will eventually. Today though is not that day. Mad says it sadly is a very high profile example of being treated as guilty without being found guilty of anything. Happens too often, and the ordinary person can't usually fight back / recover afterwards. I mean, there is definitely arguments in there. So Twitch's own policy changed last week. We covered it on the scoop last week, that they will now give more information on why accounts are banned, which is good, because if someone like Dr. Disrespect for a long time allegedly couldn't find out why he was banned, then it's very, very conceivable that smaller people with Twitch accounts can be banned, and YouTube accounts and whatever. And it's just, yeah, there's definitely a significant problem there that people can be stripped down and have no like recourse. You can't fight back. If someone like Dr. Disrespect can't fight back, then what chance do we have? Although I'd say that could be a very different situation. Tina says, I guess I find it hard to believe that all these multi-million-dollar companies wouldn't have sought legal advice before dropping Dr. D. It seems incredibly stupid to leave yourself open to lawsuits if the reason wasn't known or significant enough to warrant the action. I mean, that's the other side of the coin, is you wouldn't just get rid of him with a contract that's worth millions, because you are opening yourself up to many millions of like recompense. I need my money back, plus the extra, the loss of earnings, the brand image damaging that you've been doing. But also, forgetting all of that, imagine having a cash cow and then just going, actually, I don't want it. There's got to be a reason there. What is that? So you even without the advice for legal action, just the advice for not being stupid to yourself is like, do we keep Doc on the platform, or do we just turn him off? No, let's turn it off. Yeah, you wouldn't do that. You just wouldn't. It would not happen. But it did, and that's where we find ourselves in this weird situation. So it's like, yeah, you can argue You can go to bat and you can go to lynch either side. We will do neither, but we will sit and watch with bated breath. Elsewhere, though, let's move ahead. Should we talk about football games, Bib?
Why not? We don't really talk about them that much, do we?
Yeah, I mean, we've in 17 minutes or so, we'll have been live for an hour, so it's not like we talk at length when it comes to football games. Oh, wait, that's exactly what we do. But this one was shared on our Discord. I don't know if it was Tito, Spike, or all of you that shared them. Spike, okay, there we go. FIFA Ultimate Team UK, live your passion. This is written by FifaUltimateTeam.it. So Goals, the new AAA football game that wants to compete with FIFA, it will be free to play. So the news comes like a thunderbolt. Andreas Thorstenson, former pro player of Counter-Strike, known as BDS, is also an avid fan of football games like FIFA. He announces on Twitter that from his dissatisfaction with the FIFA game, the idea was born that he will now realise to create a completely new football game, AAA called Goals. This, obviously, just bear in mind that this is written by FifaUltimateTeam.it. So whilst the subject matter probably makes sense overall, the wording will be a little bit skew if so I'll read that last sentence again. You'll understand what it means, but it's just a bit not proper English. He announced on Twitter that from his dissatisfaction with the FIFA game, the idea was born that he will now realise to create a completely new football game, AAA, called Goals. He wants to make a AAA game called Goals because he doesn't like FIFA. That's basically what I'm saying. So according to the first statements, the game will be based a lot on multiplayer and on esports and will really reward the skills of the players. Among the objectives is to minimise lag and avoid compensations. It's very important to know that this game will be free to play and cross-platform, but it's not clear yet what the financing model will be. Andreas Thorstenson has already founded his new development studio, and at the moment they're looking for staff. Of course, it will take a few years before we see the first results, and if this Goals really will be able to unseat the FIFA series from the throne. What about a very ambitious project, and we'll see if Andreas succeeds in his intent. Here are the official statements. Okay, I'll quickly gloss over it. So they want to make a football contender. They want to give players NFTs, i.e. digital assets, as rewards in the game so that they can have revenue streams. They basically want to make it esports ready, fair, and have basically just asked for what all football fans / content creators have wanted. Can we just have a game that's fair and easy to play and free to get into and so on? Yeah, we get the idea. Think of what you'd want from a football game. They've basically put that into a press release. Of course, the first declarations of the most famous streamers, such as Kurt, banned forever by FIFA for some of his over-the-top behaviours, were not long in coming, and therefore he will be able to take advantage of this new game to return to streaming. Quote, beyond excited to announce that I will be working alongside an absolute super team in the making of a new football game, Goals game. The monopoly will be over, the suffering will be over, and above all, we'll finally get the game football fans deserve. I promise you that, says Kurt. Okay, interesting. Goals is going to be the football game that you want, that you deserve, definitively. So yeah, I'm not sure. Bib, you've been frozen on my screen for a bit, and then you come back and you're kind of super low res. Are you there? No. Can you guys see me? Can you still see me? Just making sure if it's my internet connection or if it's Bib's. Let me just Discord. Pop.
Hello, it wasn't your internet. It was that web page ripped the arse out of my CPU. The amount of advertisements on that page was a disgrace.
Yeah, if I open up this page again for the stream, there is a reason why. If I click on it, you can see my mouse cursor. My mouse cursor is the no entry symbol. That's because there was tons of ads on this page, and they were like, turn off all the ad blockers. So I looked at how many ads, thought, fuck that shit, went into inspect page source and just deleted all of the shit that stops you from seeing the article. So I've butchered the web page in order to see it, because that's just, yeah. It's nice to have the story, but damn, that website, woo. So yeah, basically the gist of what I said there is this too good to be true? It sounds it. What are your thoughts, Bib?
Yeah, I think it's a load of old ass. Yeah, I mean, it's like, think back to how many games, football games there was on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. There was thousands. You had things like Arceus Soccer. You had things like FA Premier League Stars, UEFA Champions League, Pro Evo, ISS. I mean, obviously they were the same games, but just it moved further down the line.
Oh,
So
let me
like
just
FIFA.
interrupt you there. Last Tuesday, so this time last week, pretty much almost to the hour. I had a couple of hours on it. I was in our studio, so the RCU studio. We now have an arcade cabinet in there, and I kid you not, I've seen and played a lot of football games in my time. I played a good 5-6 games that I've never even heard of before.
Yeah.
Fucking tons of them. So when we're back in the studio, we are going to have arcade football fun times for fucking days. But
I
anyway,
can't
sorry.
wait.
Back to you, babe.
I cannot wait.
Back to you, babe.
But yeah, like the amount of football games that we used to get, because the licensing issue, like this is going to be the main part of selling your game nowadays is licenses. Like forget about the gameplay, but forget about everything that else that goes along with it. The selling point of your game is about the licenses, and with the monopoly in FIFA's court, the likelihood that they're going to be able to get any licenses for this game is slim to fuck all. Unless they broker a deal for millions of pounds with each football club, it's not going to happen. So fair enough, the gameplay might be fantastic. They may end up creating the biggest esports game there will ever be in terms of a football game because it's absolutely skill based. But does that matter when you can't play? You can't have Ronaldo or Messi or Kevin De Bruyne or Phil Foden in your team on Ultimate Team, or whatever it is going to be called with them. Like, this is such a big task for them to take up. I do not think that this is going to go anywhere. We've had the esports boxing stuff, and we still think that there's a sleeper investment in there somewhere because the amount of boxes that they have in there, as well as cutmen, promoters, particular boxing arenas and things like that. Like the amount of money that they would have had to spend to license all of that stuff is ridiculous. And I don't think an indie company would have been able to try and get that much money up to be able to have those things. So as much as I would like to see another football game in the market, there's a reason why there isn't more football games in the market. Do you think that that 2K would have just allowed other games to be made, other sports games to be made, without actually thinking about how can we actually make this work for us if they didn't think it was a viable option?
Yeah.
As much as I would like to see this get off the ground and getting streamers and content creators on board to try and get your game off the ground in terms of people knowing about it is a fantastic approach because people are talking about it. We're talking about it. Twitter was rife with this late last week when this was getting announced. But the likelihood that you're going to be able to create a licensed game that isn't having the likes of, I don't know, if we can merge up a load of names like they used to do for Pro Evo, like Phil Roden, or
Calvin
De Bruyne.
Calvin Daruna.
Yeah, so having names like that without their images, what would you honestly, and this goes to the people in the chat as well, would you play an unlicensed football game if the gameplay is good? Like the entirety, like there's no Premier League, there's no career mode, it's just a multiplayer esports game across all, and don't forget this is cross-play across everything. He doesn't mention that you can play it on your mobile, but it says that you can play it on anything else. Would you be tempted in playing a multiplayer football game with zero licenses?
I think that's kind of a non. There's kind of no real point to answering that question, asking that question. Not here, because we all came from PES, and if you're passionate about PES and you've played PES for a long period of time, or a key member, or you've been involved in the community to any sort of element, your instant response is, who needs licenses? And looking into the chat, before you even ask that question, Mad just said, and back, licenses, who needs them? Tito says, I would, yes, not if it's on mobile too, though. So, like, we would play without licenses, but we are the dinosaurs. It's fact. It is absolute fact. As much as we would like to play that game, games without licenses exist, and that I play. So Retro Goal on mobile, quality game, by the way. But no licenses and stuff. I don't think that will sell as many as any license. So PES Mobile with its licenses will probably outsell that. FIFA Ultimate Team probably has more downloads for that. So licenses don't matter to us, but we are the dinosaurs in that sort of sense. Licenses do matter. Fact. It is fact. It doesn't matter on the pitch, but you're not going to sell it off that. It's like, I mean, like, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, those sort of people that influence bajillions of people. They don't go, oh, actually, I love a good high-tech trainer. Yeah, I mean, I know that Armani and all that sort of stuff, yeah, excellent. Well, but high-tech, real good quality, though, when you get past the logo. I don't give a shit, mate. I'm still going to be buying my fake Gordon Armondes from DHgate. Yeah, I know it's not Giorgio Armani, but it looks like. But that's the thing. Licenses are massively important. Not to us, not to me on the pitch. I play PES and I mod the shit out of it. It doesn't matter. But the truth of the fact is, licenses are incredibly important. So this doesn't have. It doesn't have licenses. It's not really gonna have licenses because there are two people with bigger budgets already in the game that are ticking those licenses off before you get a chance to even speak to those. Plus, they also have the benefit of something called development teams. So being able to build a game, let alone having AAA budget, having a AAA development studio isn't the same as having a AAA budget. Anyone can spend a shitload of money, but spending a shitload of money and building a good product at the end of it is not easy. That's why it doesn't happen all the time.
It's going to be interesting as well because if they do end up having like a My Club Ultimate team, like FIFA content creators obviously get a lot of views because they'll do like reviews of cards. Like if there's a new one to watch card, they'll make a review on it. But who they're going to be making this kind of content on? Like, is everyone going to get the opportunity to sign the same unlicensed player? Like, is there going to be a Phil Roden available and you can review because everyone's got the opportunity to pack him? Like, we genuinely have no idea what this game's going to consist of, and like you said before, the fact that I even ask if anyone in this chat would be open to playing a licensed video game, obviously, of course, we will because we've done it before. Its gameplay is always king, but like you say, we are the set of dinosaurs in this industry. We have like marketing is a massive part of how your game will go. Will it live or die? If sponsors can't get behind a proper real life football game, like you haven't got the clubs back in to be able to put a sponsored tweet out, you haven't got players to be able to say that they're playing this game. Like you won't have ambassadors that aren't content creators. Like it's very difficult to try and get this game off the ground, and it's a shame. But it's just the way that the market is for these sports games nowadays. Cash is king.
It's like,
and that's essentially what it comes down to.
You get the business development manager for Goals Games speaking out to all these different studios, and it's like we like these different brands. Oh, we want you to sponsor us. Yeah, we want your clothing to be featured in our game on our ad boards and stuff, and we'll put you in all our promotional content and with all the players that we have as well. So, what players do you have? Well, we've just had like the Euros. Peter Crouch had a really good podcast sort of thing. Do you have Peter Crouch? No, but we've got Peter Crunch. It's like, great. I don't think I'm going to sponsor that one. It'll be all the like, and I used to love Umbro back in the day, but Umbro is not in the same ball game as the Nikes and the Adidases of the world now. Peter Crotch, there you go. Patter Crotch, that's what we'll call him. But you can see them signing maybe the Umbros and stuff like that, but they're not going to be hitting the top names if they don't have a USP. What's the USP? That you've got Valorant-esque servers and stuff like that. But even that is just, like, if anyone's read through the statement, what I took from it, and this is my honest take from it, is we've got a guy that likes FIFA, that has played, was it a CSGO Pro? So he's used to super high tick rate, super responsive servers, and he wants that in a football game. Super high tick servers are not cheap at all, and just because you're having Peter Grouch, there you go. Just because you've got super high tick servers doesn't necessarily mean that you can just plug that into your game. It's not like disconnecting your old Sky router and then sticking in a super high tick server and that's it. The game's suddenly fast and responsive. It reads like I would write something from a studio head perspective, and I'm not qualified to be a studio head. I know a lot about video games. I know more than most people around video game development, but I don't know more than most developers when it comes to video game development. And that statement reads like something I would write. Me speaking as someone that's somewhere between a fan and someone between trying to sell the idea of a game to someone. It just, there's so many holes and things that you can pick apart, and that's exactly what we've done in the chat. Like jump back through. So Asim says, Mr. T, good morning, good afternoon. I admire the balls to do such a project, but very little hard fact details apart from what we want to do. This, and this. Main thing, no dev team yet. Who's the dev team that are going to make you this FIFA beta? That's the key thing. I can say I want to make a FIFA beta myself, but no concrete details or legitimacy to this. Exactly. Plus, it has that knobker involved. Fuck that. I mean, and that's another thing. It's like the content creators that have spoke out around it. There's always arguments for and against that. So we've had Kurt speaking in favor of this game. Kurt can't play FIFA, so it's in his best interests for this game to be spoke up. So is he kind of making a self-fulfilling prophecy? Does he have an ulterior motive kind of thing? Is he speaking this up because he wants it and needs it to be a success? We haven't seen any other established creators that can play FIFA speaking about it to the same extent as such. And by that, I mean people that are close to FIFA. That said, would we see people that are close to FIFA talking about this? Obviously, playing devil's advocate. If you are a game changer or you're close to FIFA, would you talk about this? Are you jeopardizing that relationship? Tito says, I agree with Asim. I want to believe it's my ambition to win the lottery. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Exactly. Andrew, good morning. Here for Spice and Ice. Spicy made the ball. We've already had the spicy Dr. Disrespect story. Basically, he realised that lockdown was just about happening when he was streaming last year. Me and Bib would have more hours on Twitch with the scoop and stuff, so he basically couldn't compete and ditched. That's the facts. Sorry, Doc. We ain't holding back.
Absolutely.
My point earlier, won't fly with the FIFA crowd. If there's good online stable game, totally, I'd play it, but I would need more than 1v1. Mr. Palmer 1993 is in the chat. Says, yo. What's going on over here then? All right, my love. Welcome in. We are talking about Goals, the new AAA football game that's going to have Valorant-esque servers, esports ready from the get-go, and have everything that you could ever want from a football game. Ish. It's going to be based on multiplayer, so there's going to be no single player, no career modes, potentially. So, interesting. I would prefer an edit mode to rename teams, etc., but this game is years away. This is a game that they're aiming towards the online multiplayer and esports crowd. Let's say licenses are not things, in brackets, they are. The gameplay needs to be spot on. They don't have a dev team, and they're saying they're going to deliver the world. You need a talented and experienced dev team to deliver such a thing that is into football. Not many of them, people around the world. Exactly. And this is where we get to the Peter Grouch. They just need to sign a deal with Sports Direct. They can use names like Slazenger, Donna, Everlast, Carrymore. Donna? What was that?
I'd say Donny.
Oh yeah. Diodora as well, as we get Diodora. Donny, there we go.
Dunlop.
Goddamn right. Some Tap Out in there as well now. Tap Out used to be a big brand, and now it's like, I saw some old dude walking around Salford Precinct with a Tap Out shirt the other day. It's like a kid writing his Christmas wish list. You know, it's not really going to happen, but you still dream. I took it as Kurt was an official contributor to this football game, plus some other streamer. Yeah, Run the Foot Market. I did see Run the Foot Market talking about it as well. They had been consulted, but to what extent does that go? And also, my natural, I've not spoken to either Kurt or Nick on this, so I don't know how far they were consulted, because it's in your best interest as a content creator to say that you are involved and being asked to give information on games because it adds to your portfolio. We don't know how far that was a factor. Is it good for them to say? Does it look good for them to say? It does, but is that part of the reason? We don't know.
I imagine they probably would have done. I imagine they've probably had numerous calls with whoever it is that's making Goals, and they've sat down and said, what are the pros and cons of FIFA? And they've just made a massive, brainstorm of things that they could potentially have in the game. That genuinely wouldn't surprise me. Why would you, especially for someone who used to play CS:GO and things like that, like how much do they actually know about the football in video game world? Like,
yeah,
you've got Kurt and Run the Foot Market. Run the Foot Market is probably one of the biggest FIFA content creators, and at one point Kurt was one of the best in the world at playing the game at any sports level. So you got two very good brains there to put together to try and extract all that information out. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did actually have some very, very long, deep dive conversations about how they could make a football game playable.
But even then, though, that's pie in the sky sort of stuff. If I'm sat here without a game, without a development studio, so I have not a single line of code for this game, and me telling you what you would want in a football game, anyone can offer consultancy on football because that's what it is. But there is very significant differences between being a Counter-Strike pro or a PES or a FIFA pro and developing football games that have the balance between fun, arcade, and realism simulation. That's arcade and simulation balance. You need both. And anyone that tells me that just knows you want a proper sim, yeah, you probably do. But it's probably for the majority of people going to be boring as fuck if it's pure sim. Arcade is fun, and that's the eternal struggle with video games: is getting realism versus fun. Putting the two together, and fun could be like enjoyable stuff on the pitch, or it could be just having good turnaround times, having easy ways of interacting with transfers, and not having things be monotonous, as a lot of life is monotonous when it comes to real world stuff. So people that are massively experienced, I know Nick Scott, he recently graduated. He's an exceptional content creator, plus his basis of his channel, I believe, I could be wrong on this, was based around foot market economics. So he's clearly a thinking person. He clearly has a lot of knowledge, but there's a lot of stuff that I have knowledge of the video games industry and of football games and of marketing principles and of user experience. I've got stats, analytics, and UX background, but I still wouldn't consider myself as someone that's key to making a great football game. I need people that are much more hands-on and experienced in the realm of not only AAA development, but football game development. And I could offer some insight, but what could I do? What could I do there? At this point, not a lot. If they gave me an exceptional football game or a good football game, and I can go, that's broken, that's wrong, that don't work, you need to change that, you need to slow it down, you need to free that up, I can do that sort of stuff. But at this point in time, what would we say? We want a game that is responsive. Okay, well, that's obvious. We want a game where you can have multiple different ways of playing. You want to be able to play fast. You want counter-attacking. You want possession football. Obvious, but okay, keep going. We want the ability to not have to have the same players all the time. We want it to have some elements of realism, so it's not just Ronaldo, Messi, Suarez, Neymar, Mbappe's, and things like that. I mean, still obvious, but keep going. And then where does it stop becoming obvious? When do you add value added comments at this point in time? You can't really. All you could do is just look at any wish list for FIFA 19, FIFA 18, FIFA 17, PES 2015, PES 2014, whatever. Look at any year, and pretty much the same things are always what people want. People want football in a game. That's all you can really add as consultancy at this point in time. Iceman says purely online multiplayer. I'm out. I probably would be as well, to be fair. How is Kurt going to troll a game he had a hand in shaping, though? That's his brand. It'd find a way. It's easy. It's easy. If he had a hand in shaping it, you just go, well, this isn't my vision. That's it. That's the story changed. Once it's shit, okay, well, I had a hand in this, but this isn't what I wanted. I wanted the same as you, the people. That's it. That's it. You slapped it down. If they were going to do this properly, it should have come out when they had something tangible, a trailer and or a vertical slice. No one needs to know about this at the planning stage. Right now, they've just announced the name and a wish list, nothing more. Do you know what it is for me? It's someone that is used to fame, and this could be wrong. If anyone knows the content creator ahead of this and can vouch for him, then feel free to change my mind. I'm well up for changing my mind in this. But someone that doesn't know this, BDS, the Counter-Strike Pro, is that someone that's just been successful with Counter-Strike? I believe he was a world champ or something I saw somewhere. So he knows what it's like to be the best in the world and has a lot of success and has a lot of people high-fiving him. And then he's gone into some other video game stuff. Has he just had a lot of people inflating his ego and thinks he can do anything? Is that what it is? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It kind of reads as that, as like, I've had success. I'm surrounded by people that know me as successful, so I'm gonna be successful regardless. That doesn't happen in video games, though. You start making a video game and you don't get judged on the fact that you were previously a world champion of Counter-Strike. You will get judged on the video game that you release at the end of it. Oh, that's nice. but shit. So it's like, no, it's not going. No one's going to play it. So yeah. I don't know. We'll keep our eye on it, but I do not believe what I'm reading when I'm reading through this.
No, I think it's coming from the right place. I think they've got such a long road ahead, and I hope that they're gonna think of the bigger picture, because if the bigger picture being how deep is this going to go? Like this on the surface, everything that they've listed out sounds great, but you just got to think, why has nobody else tried to do this before? Someone who's fronting this with their own pockets. Like, so as an ex CS:GO champ is funding this, I imagine, by himself until he gets sponsorships in. It's going to be a very pricey affair for him, and he's going to find out quick how far potentially his money's going to go. And believe me, I don't think it's going to go very far.
Well, I was chatting with Mr. Bamber on this the other day, and he basically summarized what we all kind of think, and we've all spoken about in the past when we've spoken about maybe a 2K doing a football game and stuff like that. And I've said in the past, even with 2K's resources, even with 2K's of knowledge of creating market-leading sports games and having engines and all of this different stuff, it's not the same. You can't just pick basketball and drop it into football. 2K know that. That's why they've not done that. So someone else coming in doesn't even have that starting point. But as the way that Mark put it, and he's not quoted this, he's not written this as a statement. So sorry, Mark, but I'm using your comments as a statement. The investment and experience required to create a football game to compete with FIFA and PES will be ridiculous. I reckon a good 500 million and a team of 200 staff for 3 years plus. Not even a massive company like Activision would take it on. Obviously, Activision can't take anything on right now. They don't even make Call of Duty anymore, according to yesterday's article. But yeah, sentiments nail on the head. You need hundreds of qualified people working for years without making a penny before you can start to make a splash. Do they have that level of investment? I'm not sure. That is what AAA sports development looks like as a minimum. Just make Adidas Power Soccer again. Exactly. There we go. Win. Do you know what? We'll just get the Nike adverts. What was it they called, that one that you had Edgar Davids? There was a game that they made that was like a side scroller. I want to say The Mission or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, off the back of the Night Football Scorpion sort of adverts, there was an Edgar Davids game. But anyway, they could partner with the abandoned dev team for a trailer. Kappa! I don't think so. Mr. THK sums up the toxic nature of football gaming community. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the stuff that went on with EA, like, he has a massive, passionate community. That is undeniable. But is that the passion that you want to launch a game? Abandoned goals. There you go. Sounds like what will eventually happen. Ta-da! GG's. So now both stories have turned into discussions about streamers with oversized egos. Always. Nika TMG says hi. But yeah, I mean, we the conversations regarding streamers and egos were put forward by you guys. So if it's we're just echoing. So if you guys want to talk about that, we'll talk about that with you. That's fine. Good morning, Nika TMG. How are you doing? Oh, good afternoon, should I say? Good afternoon. Oh, good morning. Okay, let's move ahead.
3 news stories. Like, are we going to get them done in like 10 minutes?
Yeah, of course we are. Mate. Of course we are. That article just took forever to kill.
Killed my PC.
But yeah, well, I think we can cover all. I mean, we've covered most of this. I say most of this. Do you know what? I'm just going to run through them. If I spend more time talking about them, we won't have time to run through them. But we're going to fly through these next 3 articles because I don't feel like they're worthy enough of kind of moving forward. So Pokemon Legends Arceus will include a crafting system. We spoke about Pokemon Legends Arceus last week. We showed the first look at the game, but now it will let you craft your own Pokeball. So Nintendo's have revealed that Pokemon Legends Arceus will include a crafting system that will allow you to craft a variety of different items with the resources you gather from around the world. This news was first shared by Nintendo via Nintendo of America Twitter account, which posted 2 screenshots, one of which shows the crafting system in action. From what can be gathered from this one screenshot, players will be able to collect raw materials such as apricons and use them to craft useful items. The screenshot Nintendo has shared shows the player using an apricon and an item called a tumblestone to craft a Pokeball. From this, we can assume that better Pokeballs will require rarer materials, and the items you previously had to find or purchase from Pokemarts may now only available via crafting. Also shared by Nintendo was a screenshot of what looks like a small camp out in the wilderness. This camp includes a couple of tents, a campfire, a big chest, and what looks like some kind of bench. It's suggested that players will be able to use these camps to craft items, but the inclusion of a chest and campfire suggests these camps may be used to store items and cook food. So there you go. Crafting will be in Pokemon Legends Arceus. No longer you just reach to the Pokemon to buy a Pokeball. You have to build it in the wild, which is quite interesting because an apricon, which you have to feel is somewhere between an apricot and an acorn, mixed with a stone, allows you to create this computerized ball that digitizes Pokemon and stores them in a PC. How did you do that with a stone and a bit of a plant? How did you do that? But you know what? Fair enough.
I think this is class. This is looking more and more like an MMO every single day.
Baby's camera's just starting to get perched up a little bit higher and higher. What's under the camera? What are you pushing it up? No, it sounds good. So there's Pokemon roaming in the wilds. You can now craft items as well. There's a little bit more than just jumping into turn-based battling, which is exceptional for me, which is exceptional. I just finished the stream and found your stream to chill. Well, thank you very much for dropping in. What were you streaming? Were you chatting as well, or were you playing games? We will jump ahead with our news breakdown, though, finishing things off. EA has made 5 of its accessibility patents free for any studio to use. The publisher wants to help, quote, break down the barriers for players living with disabilities. This, just in a tagline, is a GG. Yes, well done. Nice one. So Electronic Arts is sharing 5 of its previously protected patents that improve accessibility for players. In a statement on the official EA site, the publisher announced a patent pledge that lets any other game developer use 5 of its patents, with potentially more to follow, without having to pay any money or risk being sued. Through our patent pledge, this is a quote, by the way, through our patent pledge, we're committing that every developer in the industry will be able to use our accessibility-centered technology patents royalty-free, the statement reads. Anyone can freely use these patents and implement our accessibility-centered IP in their own games to make them more inclusive. This pledge covers some of our most innovative technologies designed to break down barriers for players living with disabilities or medical issues. This includes those with vision, hearing, speaking, or cognitive issues. The article then does go on to break down all of those patents to give you a little bit more information, but we don't really need to go through that. We can drop the link in the chat for anyone that is interested, but EA usually gets the knife stuck in. They're a big company. They want your money, and they do, because that's what all big companies want. But it's nice to see that they didn't have to be sharing their patents with other people to include accessibility of video games. So GG's. It's nice to see. And then finally, 9 years later, Kingdoms of Amalur staff receive a final paycheck, but only up to 20% of what they were owed. So final paychecks are now being sent to Kingdoms of Amalur staff members 9 years after Developer 38 Studios was shut down. Company mismanagement and poor sales of the ambitious RPG meant 38 Studios collapsed shortly after it became clear Kingdoms of Amalur was not going to be a World of Warcraft-style hit. This left nearly 400 developers adrift and waiting for their final paycheck until now. A new report from Bloomberg states staff are now belatedly receiving their last pay packet, albeit just a fraction of what they were owed. 38 Studios is based in Rhode Island, allegedly received just 14%. Staff allegedly received just 14% of their final earnings. Those based in Maryland get 20%. Another added wrinkle, employees are being contacted about the money via their addresses at the time, many of which are now outdated as staff have relocated to other jobs since. So if you were lucky enough to live in the house that you lived in 9 years ago, forget the fact that your salary has probably progressed. You're going to get 14% of the salary at the house that you lived at 9 years ago. Great! So Kingdoms of Amalur was famously pitched as the entry point into a new fantasy world, one created by R.A. Salvatore, Todd McFarlane, and Oblivion lead designer Ken Rolston. There were plans for a World of Warcraft scale MMO, to which Reckoning and a proposed sequel would simply be the prologue. At launch, Amalur sold moderately, but not well enough to pay back an investment from the state of Rhode Island, and developer 38 Studios was soon shut down. The studio's founder, former baseball player Kurt Schilling, was engulfed in years of messy legal wrangling over funds. Memorably, Schilling auctioned off an infamous bloodied baseball sock to to raise some cash. 4 years later, Shilling was cleared of criminal charges over the investment money. Finally, THQ Nordic scooped up the rights to Amalur franchise and released a remaster of the game in 2020. A new expansion, Fates 1, is due later this year. So, babe, quick recap. Pokemon Legends at Arceus has crafted. EA has given accessibility payments to everyone to use to make those with disabilities more likely to get into gaming. And then 9 years after it shut down, some staff get a bit of money from Kingdoms of Amalur. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the Pokemon one went over. Fantastic. It's going to look like an MMO at this point. Can't argue with that. EA doing something amazing for everyone. I don't think that'll probably get talked about as much as it should do. But again, fantastic. And yeah, someone getting paid 9 years later, that's a bit rum, especially when like most people probably aren't even living at those addresses anymore. It's so stupid, but I can see that being taken further. I reckon they're going to get maybe not sued, but something else will come of that. I think. I don't think the staff are just going to lay down with that one. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about those for time reasons.
Yeah, I mean, 20%. I mean, if a company has gone bust and there's only so much money that can go around, I mean, that might be all they can get. But you know what? We don't need to talk about that because we need to finish the stream nice. Thank you, everyone that's joined us throughout the course of this hour and 10 minutes-ish, not including the intro. We appreciate you being here. We are going to drop off. As mentioned, we do have an extra stream for you today. So if you are new here and you haven't hit follow, do feel free to do so because you'll get notified when we go live this evening, UK time. We will be going live around 6 p.m. Maybe a little bit before, so we can start talking before the show actually kicks off for the Xbox Gamescom 2021 showcase. So if you want to watch us go through all of the Xbox news live on Twitch tonight, do feel free to drop a follow on the channel. But before we go away and come back later on, Mr. Bibb, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, again, thank you very much for joining us for the second episode of the Scoop this week. We still have 3 more episodes for you, so if you want to help shape those shows, then do feel free to get in contact with us. 2 ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you need will be there, but all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
The next show will be at 10 a.m.
Ish. And you're on it, are you?
Just shout out to Tito and Madge just for being wonderful, wonderful mods. But you know what? We appreciate you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you very, very much. Dropping in the exclamation mark socials, the exclamation mark discords, and all of the other bits that you do. Thank you very much. But yeah, we are going to disappear. We will probably drop a little bit of Raider and Friend. Have you got someone in mind?
I haven't actually checked. I'll check in a second. But Asim's asking me if I'm getting aliens. Well, we are getting paid tomorrow, but I want Ken a Bridge of Spirits as well. So it's going to be a toss up between either of them. I think. I'm not too sure.
I mean, the only thing with Bridge of Spirits is I've heard it's a little bit of a fixer-upper. Hey, Lotus! Thank you very much for the tier 1 at the end of the stream. No luck catching those swans, then. I can't do it. We needed you to just jump in the call just so you can say it and then you can jump back out again. Nice. Asim says, get it.
Yeah.
No luck catching them subs, then. Actually, a bit of luck. We just got one just then. Thank you very much, dude.
Yeah. Legend, thank you.
No More Heroes 3-2.
32.
Yeah, 3-2-1.
Yeah, I do need. I really want Aliens Fire Team. It's been a game that I've been looking forward to for ages, but so is Kenna. So it's what do you pick?
Yeah, it's difficult. I'm
on Games Pass.
I kind of want Bridge of Spirits, but that's going to be a game that's cutesy and play on my own kind of thing, whereas Aliens Fire Team is going to be more like the Back 4 Blood experience we've had over the last couple of weeks. So I don't know.
Yeah. I already miss Back 4 Blood. Like I genuinely, I haven't played anything else since. I've just been playing Football Manager because it was so chaotic that I need that kind of chaos again. I'm genuinely thinking of just installing Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 again and just playing through those until it comes out. We haven't got long to wait, but I need that kind of organized chaos in my life again.
Mr. T says Kenna will probably be on PS Plus in a few months, and then says Aliens 2 probably. Lol. Touche. Touche. I mean, if you do want to watch any Aliens Fireteam, MC Fixer is live. If you do want to go check out his content, we will drop a raid.
Should we raid him?
Yeah, go on. We'll raid MC Fixer. So if you want to see someone playing for Aliens Fireteam, we'll go check him out. Have a lovely day though. We will see you tonight for the Xbox watch along. When's the next ICU PUBG? Maybe tomorrow. Actually, maybe tomorrow. I'm off-ish. Ish. I don't know. Soon. But have...
Aliens Fireteam looks so good.
Does it? Are you watching
Just
Fixer?
watching him play it now, yeah.
Okay, well, if you want to see what Fight Team looks like, we're going to go drop a raid on Fixer now. Have a good day, though. We will see you tonight, 6 p.m.-ish, for the Xbox Gamescom Showcase. Do feel free to join us then. Until then, though, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.